order. I would like to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded. And I would also like to remind everyone that we are still under the proclamation of Governor Inslee, where we cannot meet in person, where we are still meeting in Zoom land. Matt will be putting into the chat box the board's email and the sign up for a public comment. If you send an email to the board, it goes to everyone on the board, and unless you state that you are requesting a reply, we do not reply to those emails, but we appreciate them and we take them under consideration. At this time, will you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to introduce our board members. We are joined tonight by Jason White, Hilda Pena Alfaro, Meg Ludlam, Dan Schisler, our student board reps, Jaden Burrows and Olivia Berthen Cook, Superintendent Haber, and various district administrators.
And who are you?
Oh, thank you. I'm Tasha Woods. Thank you. Let's see. We are now at the consent agenda.
I'll move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
Dan has moved and Hilda has seconded. Is there any further discussion? Then with a roll call vote, Jason?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Hilda?
Aye.
Meg?
Aye.
I also vote aye. The consent agenda is accepted. I'm excited we get to start with celebrations.
Yes.
So we get to hear from Jared at Excel.
Yeah, so just so excited about the work that Jared and his team have been doing at Excel. They have really been upping the rigor, I think, for the students there, and really embracing the virtual learning. And Jared has done a great job working together with Kelly Kronbauer to get the most out of the grants that we currently have as well. And he's also going to talk a little bit about our wellness surveys that as a result of those grants we were able to support. So let me pull the slideshow up for you, Jared, and then I'll be glad to move those along for you.
Okay, thank you, Ginger. I did look at the board agenda before getting on here, so I intentionally left this brief. I hope that's okay with everybody. So prior to that first week of school starting, we met with each student and their family and developed a written student learning plan, which is an ALE requirement. And since both PLC and Excel are ALE programs, we met with families from both of those programs. That first week of September was a fantastic fall weather for Ellensburg until we got smoked out there for a little while. But so it was great. We set up tables on the lawn and met outside. And the I don't remember the exact number now, but it was something like 36 out of 42 of our families came in and met with us in person as opposed to meeting on Zoom. So it was great to reestablish connections and just see each other face to face for a little while. At PLC, sorry,
Sorry.
I've got it up here too, but at PLC, Sarah's been meeting with small groups for, she started off for, I think, 3 days, and then we had to kind of hit the brakes for 2, and then she was able to resume the following week. We knew this was before elementaries went back even, and so we really wanted to have a chance to look at our protocols and make sure that we were following our building safety plan to a T, because we didn't want to risk reopening for the rest for anybody else. And so it's gone really well with Sarah and with us at Excel. Also, we've had small groups and individual students come in, and sometimes they just need a place to be where they're used to working, and they don't even need a lot of intervention from our teachers. It's just being in school, and it helps them engage with the learning. So that's been really, really good. Go ahead, Ginger. And so we continue to work with our distance hybrid model. And I think I was on at last week's meeting, and somebody had mentioned what a great job Mike Welch has done. And I just have to agree with that. We have 100% of our families now have internet access and district provided devices. So that's been really beneficial for our families. In our ALA programs, we're using Schoology and Edgenuity at Excel, and then Sarah's continuing to use Apex. And we decided to do that because so many of her students really need that consistency, trying to keep things as consistent as possible in a world that's fairly upside down right now. So for this year, she's continuing to use Apex. And just an update on our mental health awareness training grant. We are in year 3 of 3 that started October 1st. And kind of our big initiative that we have going with that right now is the EES, Social Emotional Screener and Wellness Check-In, and that's from CEE, the Center for Educational Effectiveness. And so we've already sent out the family and staff screeners. We're getting our Tableau licenses to be able to view those results this week. And then on Monday the 12th, our student screener will be going out. And so that screener has up to 3 administrations per year. There are 2 different interfaces. There's a K2 interface and then a 312, and the questions are essentially the same, but at the K2 level, there's some more interactive graphics, and there's a reader as well. And one of the features that CEE added to that survey in recognition of the circumstances is they added a question to the end of the survey that says, "I need help with," and I don't remember, there's I think 8 categories that students can mark that they need help with, and that comes to us administrators in a separate on a separate filter when we get these results, and so we'll be able to provide assistance immediately to students who indicate that they need help with something. And at the K2 level, it's just limited to I need help from an adult, which I think helps too, because some of the areas are pretty specific. I need help with, for example, financial assistance or food, clothing, those kind of things that maybe some of our younger students wouldn't exactly understand. So just limiting it to an adult will make sure that we get somebody in contact with that student right away. The other things that we have going right now with the MHAT grant, and I didn't put it on here, but of course we have our mental health first aid trainings for the community. We're able to offer 15 of those this grant year, so from now till September 30th. We've also got U Uplift, which is a social media site where students, parents, community members, staff members, anybody can submit positive messages. And Callie Davenport and I are the moderators of those for all the buildings in the district. So those messages don't get posted to those sites without one of our approval. So it's a really neat way for students to communicate positive messages to one another, and for teachers to also recognize accomplishments of students, and all those are submitted anonymously. And so we've got those linked to our Facebook pages. There's a way to do it on a rolling video screen in the commons or cafeteria at the other buildings. And we're really looking forward to seeing how that's implemented at each building. And then I know we talked about Hope Squad quite a bit last year because it's really one of my favorite programs. Camus Davis had that as a course last year, and this year she's going to continue it as a club. And so it's just another great opportunity for students to be there and support one another through these trying times. On our CPWI grant, this is the Community Prevention and Wellness Initiative. Kind of our big programs that we've got going right now is RISE, and this is our Resilience in Students of Ellensburg, and this is a partnership between the district and Comprehensive Healthcare. And so they're using an evidence-based program called curriculum-based support groups as the curriculum for these groups. And they're meeting weekly with small groups of students on WebEx, which does work with our school student emails. So those kids have been able to get the email link to WebEx and log in with their group, and that's for an hour a week on Tuesdays. Those groups are meeting right now. And that group is really just focused on coping with challenges related to COVID, building positive relationships with peers and adults, positive decision-making, resisting negative peer pressures, and those kind of things. And that our first group met this week, and then that'll be continued throughout the year as well. And we're able with our current level of partnership with Comprehensive, we're able to fund up to 4 groups, and those are 6 to 12 students per group. So we're excited about the potential to positively impact students with those groups. And then the other really cool thing we were able to do is purchase Second Step, a complete kit for all of our elementary schools. That includes the Second Step Social Emotional Learning Kit, the Bullying Prevention Unit, and the Child Protection Unit, as well as hallway posters in English and Spanish, which is a big piece of the PBIS work at the elementary schools. And so those kits combined with what our elementary schools had and the kits that Morgan has gives the district a common social emotional curriculum for kindergarten through 8th grade. So it stops at 8th grade, and then so it's not offered at high school, or else we would look at expanding it there. But it's exciting to have that that one curriculum for all of our K-8 grades.
And Jared, what's the name of the one that the high school is using right now?
The high school, so at Excel, we're using Positive Action, which is another evidence-based program. And then I know that Ellensburg High School is using Character Strong, which is used in a lot of areas, and it's really picking up as one of the more popular social emotional curriculums. And I think Bo said there was another one that they're using as well, but I can't remember the name of that.
Okay.
So I promised to be brief. I hope that was brief enough. Are there questions about any of those programs that we've got?
Or any, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, just a question, I guess, on the attestation. That was one concern I had, was that, are the parents testing the kids, or thermometers or whatever, before they come to school and then reporting it all? How is that working, the attestation part?
Yeah, we've gotten it. So at PLC, a lot of those, they don't use Skyward a lot. So we had to go through and make sure that all the students knew their Skyward logins and passwords, because it's an app that they can then download on their phone. And it's 2 questions, and the students, any response no, then they're cleared to enter the building, and it shows up with a green check mark, saying that they're healthy to enter. If they answer yes to one of those questions, it's a red X, at which point we would put those students in contact with one of the nurses. So it's really quite convenient for students to have that app on their phone. For students that don't yet have that or don't have access to a phone, we've got a paper copy of that same attestation.
Okay, and is that going fine? I mean, do all the kids do it every day?
Yes, yeah. The paper copy is a little bit cumbersome, just
Right.
because of needing to have somebody there to watch the students fill it out and check their results, whereas the app on the cell phone is more convenient because it shows you red or green, and so it's pretty instant to know.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'm gonna ask a question for Meg, because Meg was asking this question earlier. Meg, correct me if I'm wrong. Jay, can you remind us again what the ALE program besides Excel is, the PLC?
The Personal Learning Center and Excel, yeah. So I know that it's been a few years since the name was changed from PPP, which was the Parent Partnership Program, and that was done, in my understanding, because of the there are some differences between an ALE program and a true parent partnership program, and so they wanted to distinguish PLC as an ALE program rather than a parent partnership.
Meg, you're on mute, Meg.
Oh, whoops. Thank you for asking on my behalf, but I'll ask for myself that in the future, it would be more useful to me, maybe I'm the only one, to sort of have what is the whole program and what are the things you're reporting on, how do they fit into the whole program? Because I don't really have that for ALE. I think I know what we do at the high school. I think I know what we do at the middle school and the elementary schools, but I'm less clear on the scope of the ALE program as a whole.
Yeah, thanks, Meg. I'd be happy to come back to another meeting and have a description, of each of the programs and what the differences are and how we promote the board ends within our programs.
Or maybe I'm the only one who feels the need. I don't know if other board members would appreciate it.
Go ahead, Dan.
That too.
No, that will be useful information to have. And thank you for your presentation. I would like to know if there is a possibility that we will have access to the results of the questionnaires and the surveys that you are doing.
Yeah, the student survey results are going to be accessed by all administrators and counselors. And then so that after that 2-week window closes, those results will also be accessible on, we're going to get them loaded on School Data Solutions. So I don't know if I suspect we can share that with you as well. I think the perception data from our parents, our families, and staff members is definitely important to be shared with the board as well, just to match our own self-perception against that of our community and staff members.
Thank you. That would be very nice. Thanks.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you for walking us through that and explaining and clarifying for us. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.
Ginger, I'm not quite sure who's presenting.
Yes, I'm up next. So let me go ahead and share here. So great does happen here in ESD. It was so exciting this week to start with our hybrid, and just seeing the buses roll up and the students excited to get off the buses. And again, thank you to the board members that were able to make it out to welcome the students getting off the bus, as well as I know we were all put to work real quick to just kind of help those kiddos get where they needed to be. And a huge thank you to our elementary staff and our transportation, which we're going to celebrate big time here in a minute, for just making it happen. And it just, those first 2 days this week went really, really smoothly, and it takes a team effort to make that happen. So we are ESD strong in the midst of this pandemic, and this week was a good example of that. These first 2 days. Really, I really want to take time right now and just thank the transportation department. When we were looking at the AB groups, we did do kind of a couple of research, and especially, really a special thank you. And I know that I'm going to, at the end here, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'd like for Cindy Ramsey, our Assistant Director of Transportation, and Carol Chrisman, our Transportation Supervisor. These ladies worked night and day, literally. They worked till late in the evening throughout last week. I came here at 10 o'clock on a Saturday, and there they were again, continuing to work and make sure that this routing was in place. They really did go above and beyond the extra mile, literally, they worked as a team with the bus drivers and called every single family in the A and B group to make sure that families knew their route. And that personal touch, I think, really meant a lot to our families and helped to ensure that smooth start to our week. So again, thank you to Cindy and Carol for making that magic happen. And it was very evident as kids were excited and getting where they needed to be and getting off the bus. So again, when I'm done and I get rid of this screen sharing, I would love for Cindy and Carol to turn their cameras on so we can all see you guys and wave. And if you want to add anything to that, I would love for you guys to do that. We also, again, it's something we want to keep celebrating every single time, our nutrition services. Alexandra just does a phenomenal job in organizing her staff. This was at Lincoln. They're doing the breakfast in the classroom, and caught these guys in action, putting those lunches together. Since November 9th, we've served over 38,000 meals to our students. And I just really think it is phenomenal and truly the work of our amazing nutrition team. And then, of course, what's the first day of, it felt like finally the first day of school, because we really haven't even seen our students at school since March. And it was, I know I was so excited Sunday night at our time sleeping, because it finally felt like the first day with the students coming on campus. So over here, these are pictures of Valley View. And you can see, you know, we worked hard on a safety plan all year, and you can see now the safety plan in action. Students, you know, being that 6 foot apart with their masks. The kids all had their masks on, some very cute masks like cats and all kinds of fun masks. And you can see in the classroom, we have them 6 feet apart with their masks on. Over here, caught some people in action here, staff members in action, sharing what are some of those procedures that we want process we want students to follow when they're in the classroom, the importance of 6 foot spacing. And this is the bathroom here, and how, you know, what is that process going to look like now to ensure social distancing and safety when we use these different areas of the school. And again, here, another classroom with students spaced apart with their masks on. I was just thrilled. I was able to visit Mount Stewart, Lincoln, and Valley View these first 2 days, and was just so appreciative of our teachers and our principals and our classified staff, really working strong as a team to make this a very special beginning of the school year as far as kids being in person in their schools with the hybrid model. So again, I just really want to thank our elementary staff, our transportation staff, our nutrition staff for making that hybrid model happen so successfully the beginning of this week. And Carol and Cindy, do you guys mind turning on your cameras real quick and just kind of wave? And Board, if you can just join me in thanking them for their amazing work. And Cindy and Carol, anything you guys would want to share? You don't have to, it's fine.
They're muted. They can't unmute themselves.
Oh, okay, hold on.
I'm trying.
There you go, Cindy and Carol.
Hi, Ginger, thank you. The board, thank you. We couldn't do it without the team effort, and it's been a team effort across the board with, admin, all the administrators at the buildings, the teachers, the staff that's helped put those kids on the bus in the afternoons. It has worked very smoothly at those schools and in the mornings and afternoons, and we couldn't do it without the team effort. So we thank all of you as well, because it takes the team. The drivers are huge. The drivers have, they've been excited to get back to work and in those buses and get those kids to school. So we just thank everybody.
Yeah, I'd like to concur. The drivers have been really rolling with the punches, because every day they come in, we've changed their routes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, ladies, and to your whole team. Truly a heroic effort in getting our school year off to the start with the hybrid model. So thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And those are my celebrations.
All right, thank you. It is great to start seeing kids back in school, and it is with board thanks to all of the team making this work. We are at 4E. Brian with a enrollment report.
Enrollment. It's a very preliminary enrollment report. Oh, I'm on. Oh, okay. I thought I was muted. It's a very preliminary enrollment report, and new this year because of COVID. We've been given some latitude by OSBI, and so we've been allowed. We will be allowed to go back in time and continue to revise our September enrollment, because we were allowed to continue enrolling kids right up to the 28th. And in previous years, the current procedures are you are only allowed to count students that are actually served during the first 4 count days of September. And that 4th day would then become your count date. So they've given us great latitude to try and they know how hard it is during these times to try and get kids in and get them registered and signed up for classes, and so that's appreciated. So what you're looking at is an enrollment report that shows we're roughly 210 students below what our budget estimate was, and that's a concern. I think it's a concern statewide. I mentioned in our study session earlier that many of the schools I contacted were down 10% or more. We're down about 6.5%. And then also OSBI put out an article on enrollment statewide, as they too have looked at an enrollment, are concerned that as a state we're down about 2.82%. And so our numbers, our preliminary numbers, we're down a little bit more than state average, but interestingly enough, statewide, kindergarten was down quite a bit, and we're only down 1% in kindergarten. And so we're not really tracking with the state, with the trends there. You haven't seen this yet, but I've seen the preliminary October report, and we've already picked up 10 students in October, and so this is from information only, as we will continue to update enrollment throughout the year and give you monthly reports from here on, just as to where we are. Are there any questions at all about a budget? I mean, enrollment, where we budgeted 3,200 students, and again, we're sitting in October about 200 down. I forgot to mention Running Start. We are up quite a bit at Running Start from an estimate of 95 to 131 FTEs, and so a lot more participation in Running Start than what we expected, but that's certainly, you know, due to these COVID times. Any questions at all?
No, I don't think so. Oh, Dan?
Yeah, do we have any idea where I mean, the kids are out there, are they just homeschooling, or are they going to like Kittitas, or do we have any idea about what they're doing?
Dan, I think we have generalized ideas that some families are keeping their children home. I think when you look at the online academies in the state of Washington, they're up dramatically, and so that would tell us that we've had students maybe join up with the online academies. That's happening. Mm-hmm. But no real data to really point to be able to share with you yet, and I'm sure that'll continue to come in, and we'll share that with you when we get it.
Okay, thank you.
Or does anyone else have any questions? All right, and staying with Brian, an update on our bond projects.
Yes, can I share my screen and show you some updates?
I think that you have that ability, yes.
Board, can you see this?
No.
Uh-oh. Huh.
Let me see. Brian, do you have the ability to share it now?
Click right there. Click right here. Share. Now grab this.
No, they're looking at it, right?
You can see it, Brian.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that little hiccup. There is dramatic progress being made on our construction sites. I'm hoping that you can see pictures of Mount Stewart Elementary.
Brian, can I ask you to maximize your window with the pictures in it? Because we're seeing your desktop. So if you could, yep, just right there, that would be easier.
All right, thank you. Now can you see me?
Yes.
Can you see me now? Sorry. Okay, so they've made dramatic progress in erecting the steel, the walls, the ceilings. This picture here at Mount Stewart Elementary is looking south and at where the entrance is going to be. All of our sections A, C, and D have now had all of the concrete poured. The steel beams are up, the roof structure is up in those areas. We have one area left, area B, where they're actually doing the final slab prep, and that's going to be poured at any time now. But this picture right here, if you can see, is looking due south towards the new gym. And you're in the hallway of your new school right now. And you can see the roof's already on. As I was there on my last walkthrough, crews and carpenters have already measured out where all the rooms are going and where the doors are going, and they're beginning construction already on that. And so these crews are moving along really fast. And then as we get to the new school, as our concrete work and our footings have been completed, then those crews have now moved to the new school just to the north. And they continue to make great progress up there as well. And so you're looking at our new elementary school. Primarily, you're looking at the footings and the footing walls, and they are ready to start pouring our flooring here up here very, very soon. And I think I remember in about 3 weeks when they're done with all of the steel erection on the Mount Stewart, they will be moving to the new school, the same crew. And so the timing of moving one crew from one school to the next has just been working out beautifully, and really impressed with the quality of the work that they're doing and the speed with which they are doing their work. And then also, I think you'd be excited to see this, Lincoln Elementary. This is the latest design on Lincoln Elementary, and you can see kind of from the air where the new gym is going to be positioned. The design of incorporating the color of the new gym to the trim of the existing building, so that it integrates in the new with the old, but still the new is going to look a little different than the old. And I really like the way they did that. They're going to restore the windows in what was the old cafeteria. They're going to restore the ceiling height windows there, and then those windows are going to be matched in the gym. Our designers have really come up with some neat ideas there. Create a little bit of a courtyard down in here for students with the covered areas, and then new and expanded play areas, walk routes all the way around, additional parking, and then the elevator will be down on the south end. So the building is really starting to come together there as well. We have received permission from OSBI now to sign the final contract with Garco, and we will be having that meeting next Thursday. So we along with OAC and working with John Heinley from OSBI, we've actually kind of pioneered a new process for doing design build, because the older deform processes didn't allow this kind of interaction between contractor, designers, school districts, and the state. And so they've actually allowed us to bypass some parts so that we could get approval to sign the contract and then go back and continue with, which, by the way, that happens at the D10 stage. And then we move back in time to do the D5, the D7, and the D9. And so OSBI, they've allowed us to make that alteration so that design build actually works more efficiently. So it's kind of been fun to be on the cutting edge of a new process at the state too. So are there any questions at all about the designs or?
No, it's exciting to see. I know that as a family, we'll drive by the Mount Stewart and the new school project. It's exciting to see all of that activity.
It is exciting, and Garco is really excited to have this kids back, and they've offered to try and integrate some of that in with the work that they're doing. And I would open to all of you, if you would like to come in and have a walkthrough, just let me know, and we can arrange that anytime, and see just the high quality of their work. It's pretty impressive.
Well, I for one will probably take you up on that, because I think it's pretty exciting to see.
Good, thank you. That'd be nice.
Board, any other questions? All right, thank you. Okay. Brian, we're just sticking with you right now. It's just you, straight down. So we're on the Valley View roof replacement project.
Yes, board members, this is a project that was completed some time ago, and if I'm not mistaken, we had it on an agenda for you to give our final approval on that. And then I think because I was ill, it may have been pulled off. I'm just putting that back on there. I want to have your formal vote and your acceptance of the roof on Valley View. It was quoted at $722,000, and it came in completed project at around $710,000. And we got a complete new roof on there, at least with a 20-year extended warranty. And then even since that time, we've completely painted the entire building and the portables. And that work was done this summer. So we're not just creating beautiful schools elsewhere. We're really trying to bring along Valley View as well. And we have some more work to do on Valley View with the pick up and drop off out in front. We're looking at ideas, and we're working with Rob, our principal, there on some ideas to calm that down a little bit. So this is my request for you board members to approve the roof project, and that it was done to our standards.
I will move that we that we accept this project as completed.
I'll second.
Meg has moved and Dan has seconded. Is there any discussion? And with the roll call vote, Dan?
Aye.
Hilda?
Aye.
Meg?
Aye.
Jason? And you're on mute this time.
Where'd you go?
I believe you said aye. And I also vote aye. You were on mute, Jason, when you voted, so I was like, I'm not sure what you said.
I did? Weird. Okay, aye, sorry.
And it was I think your first time being on mute. You're not ever on mute, so that passes. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, board, we are on board reports, and we will start with legislative.
Hello, everybody. So, Hilda, I know you and I are the newest ones here. So I really think when I stepped into legislative role, I had no idea what I was stepping into. So the General Assembly was the most eye-opening experience I've ever had on this board. It took an entire day, and we went through 149 positions that we had to vote on. I learned so much, and I thought I knew most of them, and then I realized some of them I was like, oh, I have to represent this district, and what am I going to vote? And most of the things I felt pretty good about, but there were some things that I was like, I would have loved to have talked with you all more about some of these issues. The good news is nothing that I was unsure about, it would have passed or not passed without me, because they were all pretty much very much leaning towards one large group. There were only two positions that were somewhat close. There was one in particular that was kind of a tough one, but I think due to equity, it wasn't the right. Anyway, I won't go into all the details because we could talk all night about each one of those positions. But what I would say is, and I wanted to thank Meg, between Meg and I took our top 15 and kind of put that together and made it by the deadline, which was today by noon. So we did get ours in. And I think, just to report back to the board, I will not be surprised if the top priority for WASDA legislative this year will be addressing digital equity for Washington students. It passed 88-0, so everyone voted for this one, which doesn't surprise me. It's really about equity. It's really about making sure that, you know, can there be funding, federal stimulus dollars to help school districts to identify our students that are either in rural areas or areas where they're not able to access things. My report.
All right, thank you, Jason. Dan, we're at early learning.
Yeah, now Jason's dog got my dog all riled up. I have two things, I guess. One, yeah. One of them is actually from the Early Learning Coalition, and that is that on October 14th, which is next Wednesday, there'll be another drive-through book giveaway for book and toys and tools giveaway for kids from 0 to 5. And that happens at noon on Wednesday, next Wednesday, at the Catholic Church in the south parking lot, the Catholic Church. And it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of people come through there, like 50 to 70 families every week every week, and it's a monthly thing. So, and there are also ways if someone can't get there that day, they can call and actually have books and tools delivered to them, which is pretty cool. And the other thing is the Ed Foundation. We had a meeting this morning, and usually in the fall there's a deadline for teachers or well, for teachers basically but some students actually have applied for things too. So to apply for mini grants to get certain things that they want to enhance their classrooms. We are going to be doing it this year. We're trying to decide exactly when, but we may extend the deadline to January just because the November one is coming up really fast and there's so much going on right now. So teachers, don't put that out of your minds. Keep thinking about what you might be able to use in your classrooms or to use for the kids, and don't forget to submit a grant if you would like to get one from the Ed Foundation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dan. Olivia, I didn't get a chance to check in with you. Olivia, did you want to do a student board report?
I don't think we have much to report on this week. I know that we had a meeting that went pretty well a couple days ago, but other than that, I don't think there's anything.
Okay, thank you. For teaching and learning, I just want to share some parental observations, right? We're almost at a month of being back to school, and I have 4 kids who've been doing the virtual academy, right? I have a 8th grader, a 6th grader who is shocked that he's in middle school, a 4th grader, and a 2nd grader. And they're all at home, and both of their parents, right? Both of us work, and both of our jobs, we pretty much live in Zoom. So with these 4 kids, they are responsible for logging into their Zoom meetings. That my 2nd grader has to be responsible for her own time. And just these observations after a month, right, of these new programs, Edgenuity, Schoology, it's been pretty amazing to watch the kids grow because the kids have grown. Edgenuity is completely new to them, but in watching these guys, they're learning some lifelong learner skills and habits, right? They're learning how to continue through a lesson, even though some of them are incredibly tough and they're really not quite sure where to get that feedback from. They learn not to give up. They're learning on organizing themselves because their parents are busy, right? And so it is up to them. We check in with them at the end of the day, but the middle school students are responsible for it themselves. They're taking personal responsibility. That is immediate feedback that they are getting. I know both of my 8th grade and 6th grade have been surprised by some of the grades that they get on the assignments. And if they are surprised by it, they've had to advocate for themselves, right? They have had to send an email. They have had to communicate with their teacher. And man, middle school teachers, I think you've heard from a lot of kids saying, can I take that again? Can I get another chance at that? Because I know my kids certainly have. And with my 8th grader, right, band was one of his favorite classes. My 6th grader was looking forward to band, and that's one of the difficult things, a different thing that's happening for them this year, but there's also silver linings. My 8th grader is extraordinarily, oddly into Latin, and we hear about Latin all the time at our house right now, which is great because he would not have had that chance if it wasn't for Edgenuity. He would not have had that ability to do that. So that is one of the silver linings. And as a parent and as an educator, watching our educators work with the kids on Zoom, respond to the kids on Zoom in under a month, we've come a long way, right? We're all learning as we go, but there are some serious bright spots that I am seeing with my kids. And I just want to give a shout out to all the parents and the kids and the caregivers and the community members and the parapros and the teachers, everyone that is working hard to make this work because it's very valuable. It might look different, but it's very, very valuable. Ginger?
Thanks, Tasha. Yeah, I just talked to another parent yesterday who echoed some of the same things that you just shared. He shared that his middle school student in particular is learning about time management, and his fourth grade student, he felt like the Edgenuity really allowed for some good self-pacing, and she has been just moving along. She loves math and is a fourth grade, already kind of working into fifth grade, sixth grade level type math, and is just loving the ability to be able to self-pace and move forward according to what she's able to do. And so I definitely, and I heard that from a few other parents too, that self-paced piece of Edgenuity has been something that's really supporting many of our students to really thrive in that online environment. And you know, I just really believe that there's different pathways for different students, and some students really thrive in that in-school environment, and we have other students that are doing really well with the online component as well. So I'm just really thankful, and I would echo what you said. Huge thank you to our teachers and our principals and administrators and our paraeducators who are really digging in and learning these new programs and helping this to continue to move forward. So I'd like to also, for my update, I want to share, so OSPI came out paired with labor and industry recently, and they came out with a new document for reopening schools. And so we've been sifting through that. I think it came out like September 30th to see, you know, what are some, is there anything that we need to do differently as a result? And one thing that we do know that we've known that we've needed to do something different, and we've been working on those kind of plans with Dr. Larson since June. But the guidelines that came out around like band and choir are quite different than what we had been planning even with Dr. Larson and the Kittitas Public Health Department's input. And so we are mandated to follow what OSPI is recommending here. So I just want to show it to you. Oops, wait a minute. Can you see it? Okay. So let me make it bigger here. So basically, you know, to reduce the potential exposure from these different kinds of activities, this is directly out of OSPI's requirements, and that is band is limited to percussion and stringed instruments only with physical distancing and at least a cloth covering to be worn at all times. This is just part of the document. It's on page 19. I sent you guys the link this afternoon, so you can go through that whole document. And if you have any questions around that, feel free to reach out to me. But I'm just talking about this part of it tonight. Everything else in there was pretty much aligned with what we were doing. We have to do a few more adjustments for physical education classes as well. Choir permitted basically only at home, you know, in an isolated with the people in their immediate household. And so with that, both Bo and Michelle met with our music teachers today, and they are looking at their programming and a way to support students differently who are taking band and choir. As you said, Tasha, we're always trying to look for where's that little silver lining in there. And the good news is that the new band director that we hired is a percussionist and has led whole drum lines before, and so we will be ordering some more drum pads so that we can work with rhythms and that kind of thing with our band students. We're also looking at potential opportunities for band instructors and even our choir instructors to work maybe more one-on-one with students through Zoom at other times, or even possibly, you know, during the time of their class. So we're still working that out, and we're problem solvers in ESD and working together as a team to figure out how can we best support our musical programming. We did Bo and Michelle sent letters out to our band and choir parents, our music parents tonight. And so we've contacted parents and everybody's aware of it. I also heard from Dr. Larson. This is just an example of how it's kind of like plan and pivot, right? That is our mantra right now, because we also understand that the Department of Health is coming out with renewed recommendations again in 2 more weeks. And so I asked Dr. Larson today, I said, I'm hoping that OSPI's new ones are gonna align with DOH, and we're hoping that will happen. I'm assuming they will. I think they, get together on a regular basis, but we're just always looking at, what are the new requirements and what are the kind of plan and pivot moves that we have to make. But we've got a strong team, and we're putting a plan in place for this as well. So I just wanted to give you this as my update with the superintendent update, because I did the celebrations earlier.
Thank you, and that brings us to public comments. We do have a link in the chat box for public comments. Matt, thank you for adding it. You can also email the board at the board@ESD401. If you email us, we all receive it at the same time. We all read it, but please understand that if you don't ask for a reply, we don't reply to all of them. But we do thank you for taking the time to email us. Matt, just to get a verification, I am not seeing anyone signed up for public comments. Just want to verify that you are also seeing that.
That's correct, I haven't, and I'm ready to set the timer for 30 seconds or a minute, whichever you choose.
Yes, please, let's do it for 30 seconds. All right, thank you. Public comment is closed. Board, we're at new business, proposed items for future consideration. Okay. I'm not seeing anyone coming off of mute. We do not have an executive session tonight, correct? Right. Board calendar clarification. All right, I think we covered most of that in our study session. We have a 4-hour-long Zoom meeting to look forward to. Clarification and next steps. Matt, you'll do our wrangling of all of us to sign those official documents?
Yes.
All right, board. I'm just gonna call it the time. It is 7 o'clock, which I find to be really quite extraordinary on a Wednesday. So I would like that to be noted. 7 o'clock. And so with a thumbs up from the board, we can be adjourned. All right, I see thumbs up. Thank you. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everyone.